Good morning, School District of Indian River County. This is your Superintendent, Dr. Moore, here with our fourth Facebook Live leading into the opening of the 21-22 school year. And over the course of the last 4 weeks, man, how things have changed. So today's update will be providing some information as we prepare to start school. And just one last reminder, school starts Tuesday on the 10th, not on Monday, so we still have one more day of rest, students, and sleeping in. But we do want to start to get ourselves into those routines and conditions. We're also going to go over some of our spring assessment data results. Parents, they are available on our portal, so please take the time to look at those. A lot of information coming out as a result of those state results. Also, I want to briefly review Executive Order, which was signed last Friday afternoon. That was the governor's emergency order in order to ensure that parents have the right to choose regarding the mask. So we're talking a little bit about that, and there is an additional meeting being held at the State Board of Education today at 11, and that is information that each of the 67 districts are waiting on as it relates to the health condition measures that will be implemented in our schools. And as soon as we have that information, we will pass it along to you. We're looking for some clarity around quarantining and the procedures that will be in place from the Department of Education as well as the Florida Department of Health to provide some consistent guidance across all 67 districts to ensure that it is equitably done across all of the districts versus inequitably done for each individual district. So want to spend a little bit of time talking through our outcomes of last year. Once again, I want to look backwards and highlight the importance of why we want our children in classrooms with the teachers who do the absolute wonderful things with them in our classrooms. So as you recall, last year we started with about 67% of our students in brick and mortar. And over the course of the year with that virtual and transitional model, we grew to 85%. And then you look and it broke down by ethnicity and race. 70% of our American Indian grew to 87%, Asian 63 to 75. And you see some significant growth over the course of the year, and we're excited about that growth. But the majority of that growth came as a result of us working with families and parents and not seeing success in those virtual transitional models. So we're reacting to students not finding the success that they typically would find in a classroom with a teacher. And as we continue to move through the data, that's exactly what we saw. And this is data that's very representative across the entire state. And when you look here, that face-to-face model, 54% of the students in our schools were 3 or above. But look at that face-to-face remote and full year, 10 percentage points below. That speaks to the power and purpose of a teacher. And you see very consistent in mathematics as well, 53% face-to-face combined, 14 remote the full year, down 27%. That's why we're fighting to get our kids back in school. That's why we're taking every precaution possible in order to ensure that our teachers have 180 days of meaningful time to instruct students over the course of the year. If you look at this slide, this takes a little deeper and this looks at all students and different ethnicity and races. And you can see across the different ethnicities and races, pretty consistent in terms of decline. There's a higher level of consistency and decline with your instructional model that was selected versus race or ethnicity. And you see it holds true in both reading and math. So when you look at students with disability, you see students with disability decline less compared to students without disability, so that's actually something that we're proud about. In math, also held less of a decline compared to students without a disability. Economically disadvantaged students declined 2, where non-economically disadvantaged declined 9. And you see similar traits in math as well. Once again, the correlation in decline is associated with the instructional model that was selected last year. When you look at district deceleration, we were very intentional regarding what we did with middle school mathematics, and you see significant improvement for us in 18-19, 56% of the eligible students scored at 3 or above. In 2021, actually 65 did. That's an improvement of state ranking of 9 percentage points. In 18-19, 59% of our students in high school took accelerated courses. In 19-20, that was significantly impacted because we didn't finish the school year in brick and mortar. Students didn't have the opportunity to take the exams that would lead to industry certification, the AP exams, but still scored 57%. That was 19-20. 2021, that data is still pending, but it's very, very encouraging, and we think we're going to have significant increases in that particular area. So all things considered, we celebrated last week, and we continue to celebrate how we did in comparison to the other 66 districts in navigating through that pandemic. But by no means are we going to rest on that success. As we examine our data, we want to ensure each and every single student has the opportunity to be successful. And we know, as the system of schools in Indian River County, we want to support our students in classrooms, allow them to have the opportunity to connect and engage with powerful instructors, our teachers, to make sure we are one of the top 10 districts in the nation. And we're on that move. We're making that happen. So as we begin to prepare for the opening of the 21-22 school year, we have some goals that we have set aside for ourselves, and I'll ask that to be put on the screen quickly. And as I put my glasses on to read them, establish and maintain educational learning environments that support student and staff health and safety amidst COVID-19. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Provide high-quality, standards-aligned instruction while maximizing instructional time at all levels of schooling. Maximizing the instructional time that we have. Continuing to maintain an emphasis on equitable access to high-quality instruction for historically underserved populations. We need to continue to make sure those students are in school and they have access to our educators. Provide a continuum of support to maximize the resiliency and psychological safety of all members of our school communities, and increase the intensity of interventions of subgroups of students disproportionately impacted by reduced time and face-to-face instruction during last school year. Very intentional areas. As we begin to open up schools, we have a strategic plan that's going to lead us to very, very successful outcomes, but we need to be able to be nimble enough to adjust our practices in order to ensure that we're ready to meet the needs of all kids, and we're responding to our current reality. And as we go into our current reality, there is additional information we want to share regarding our health and safety measures at school. We have those systems in place. As I said earlier, face coverings will be optional for students and staff during all instructional and activities, including on transportation. We're seeing at orientations a high level of students and families selecting to wear the face covering, and we want to continue to highly recommend that you do so as we begin the opening of schools based on our current reality. Also, due to the current community transmission, face coverings was again highly recommended. Expectations will be taught that negative commentary or treatment of any individual related to their face covering choice will not be tolerated. We'll continue to support those students as we transition in. Classrooms will be arranged to maximize physical distancing, and we'll continue the water bottle stations. Water fountains will not be available. The use of one-way hallways will continue to be maximized. We continue the misting each and every single night. Volunteers will be limited to essential visitors as we begin the school year. We're hoping to push back on that as soon as we possibly can, but we'll err on the side of caution. Those visitors' face coverings are highly recommended as well. Student staff who are experiencing symptoms of illness should remain home, and that's key. As we prepare to start school on Tuesday, that self-assessment for employees, teachers, and students is key. If you do not feel well, that would be the opportunity to stay home, have yourself assessed prior to returning to help reduce the impact or spread of COVID. I want to encourage everyone to look at our website. We have a lot of information. It is a one-stop shop. This is a great resource for families and parents to sit with your children and prepare for the opening of schools. Everything that you would need you will be able to find right there. If you haven't done so already, now is the time to sit and have those conversations to ensure our families are ready. Once again, questions or concerns that you have the Office of Student Affairs, Advocacy, and Access completely created to support our families and our parents as we transition back to school and as we move throughout the school year. So as you find issues or concerns, first response is always going to be your teacher and principal. But if the issue isn't resolved, by no means do you allow yourself to feel frustrated or feel as if your needs aren't being met. We are here to support, and we're here to hold ourselves accountable to providing the highest quality instruction and meaningful environments for our students as we move throughout the year. And this Office of Advocacy will support that work. Very specific questions. We have done a lot of development, a lot of shifts in practice to improve the quality of instruction, so you might find things different. These are the numbers. You also be able to find them on our website to make sure you are prepared and ready for the opening of schools. As always, follow us on social media. We want to keep parents informed. August 10th, we will begin a new school year. It is a school year which we were hoping to return to normal. That's just not the reality. As we prepare for the opening of schools, we need to understand that we are the system of schools across our county that we want to use to pull our community together. We want every classroom to feel as an extension of your home. Every classroom to feel as an extension of your home. We want every child to walk into school and feel safe and feel comfortable and understand, in this place, I am cared for, I am loved, I feel safe, and I can connect to the quality instruction to this loving adult who is here to provide instruction for me. This is a partnership. We live in a world that unfortunately is completely divided. An extension of our home, our classrooms. That requires us to work together. That requires us to have deep conversations with our children to ensure that we are honoring those who we are in classrooms with. These are hard times, but the school district of Indian River County, the individuals who live in this great county, can set the example that can be followed by the rest of the nation if we're willing to work together. This is not going to be easy. This is going to be complex, but if we do it together, we will find the success that each and every single one of our children deserve. Thank you. As information becomes available regarding quarantine or information from the state, we will continue to push that out. We will definitely provide information, even if we don't get it, prior to the opening of schools, and we'll be very intentional of sharing that information. It's been absolutely outstanding seeing each and every single one of you, so many of you, in schools, preparing orientations, all the professional development by teachers. I can tell you, the energy is high. We are excited to greet your children back to the 21-22 school year. Thank you, and have a great day.